As a live performer, I'm curious about how the whole landscape is changing. And some of you might have performed on stage. Some of you, in fact, all of you, will have experienced the impact of a really amazing live performance. But what's happening in this space now? And an exciting question, what's coming next? This panel is moderated by 𝗬𝗂𝘃𝗲, VP at Music Tech Europe and Chief Liaison Officer at Copyright Delta. And joining him are a mega panel, really fantastic, exciting panel, including a dear friend of mine who's flown all the way in from Atlanta. 𝗬𝗂, please take it away. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. Yeah, cool.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is 𝗬𝗂. I'm gonna moderate the next session, Live Music Unleashed, and hopefully in this conversation we are able also to probably redefine a bit what we actually mean when we are talking about live music experiences and the role of technology in that. We have a wonderful group of speakers, panelists here with exceptional experience, and I hope you're gonna get a lot of insights and hopefully also good ideas about some new projects, perhaps new business, or doing some cool collaboration with these people. To get started with, let's do a quick round of introductions. Maybe you can just briefly tell who you are, what are you working on at the moment, and if you are really excited about something specific right now, maybe tell us a little bit about that. We can start with Dot.
Hey guys, I'm Bustelo. I was at Apple for 10 years on the Logic Pro team. I started at the very pioneering German software company 𝘠𝗏𝘃 that developed Logic. I was a Logic user myself for many years, and I showed a lot of rock stars how to make a beat. Then I founded a company, Loupe, that streams digital art from all over the world on television, giving visual artists the same opportunity for discovery as music streaming, and creating a cool complement to the experience of streaming music for the 2 billion people that stream music at home. We distributed on 14 TV platforms, patented the technology, and sold it last year. And since then, I've been supporting a few really cool, creative, emerging tech companies. One of them is an AI music creation tool using all licensed, legally trained training data. Another is building humanized AI agents. And the third is in immersive entertainment, co-founded by young guru, Jay-Z's engineer, and Adrian Rashad Driscoll. Is that too long? I had one more point I wanted to share. Before we sold Loupe, when Apple announced Vision Pro, I was approached by so many extraordinary creators and developers working in immersive that wanted to build the immersive experience of Loupe, of art and spatial audio music. We never got to it before selling the company, but I got so excited about the opportunity for this new experience of immersive, how it brings you closer than any other medium to content. And if you haven't had that experience yet, please ask one of us for some good examples of what I mean by how close it brings you to content.
Brecht.
Hi, my name is 𝗟𝘃𝘃𝗲, and I'm a fraud because my background is actually, initially at least, in AI for music production, in academia and then in the startup space. So in the early days of 𝘠𝘶𝑑𝑒r, automatic mastering platform, and then my own startup after that. However, I believe I'm on this panel right now because at this moment I am head of research at 𝗶𝘃𝘃 Music, about an hour away from here in Hasselt. And there's a bunch of things we do there that I'd love to talk to you about at some other time, but specifically a lot of what we do is in the theme of immersive music. And actually, just to get it out of the way, in just under 2 hours, the concert you've been hearing about, but that you have to register for, the link is in the 𝘨𝑓𝑜rnia chat or on the toilet doors around here. So do register, and then that is actually an example of what we are doing in this research center. We work together with 𝗪𝗏 or VAG to make this immersive experience for you. So hearing is believing, so you gotta get there and have some idea of what we do. But in a nutshell, we work very closely, so we're a research center embedded in Belgium's pop and rock school, 𝗶𝘃𝘃 Music, and we work very closely with the music industry, so with artists, concert venues, festivals, you name it, to make immersive experiences. And very central to what we do, in addition to the technological piece, is everything is super applied and also always starting from the artist and very artistically inspired. So yes, I'd love to talk more about that. And then in my spare time, I'm at the Audio Engineering Society, soon to be president, which has a lot of immersive content as well, but just audio in general.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
President, that's cool. Yara.
Right. Hi, everyone. I'm 𝗂𝗏𝗃𝗲, founder of 𝗂𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗃. I used to work in Decentraland, which is like a virtual platform, Web3. So I was head of Metaverse Music Festival there, and I was creating immersive experiences and fan experiences as well, and using NFTs and wearables and all of the buzzwords of the metaverse when it wasn't more like in the hype. Now I'm a founder of a company that, we are doing an app for smart glasses for the blind, using AI and computer vision for them. So I definitely, one thing that I'm always trying to look what's next, in tech, and try to somehow get involved into it early on. So that's why I was in Web3, Metaverse, and VR back in the day, and blockchain to pay artists faster, also got involved into that. And now what I'm looking at is smart glasses. So I think what I'm looking forward to is like what's gonna come next when it comes to blended experiences between physical and digital, when people will start using smart glasses everywhere, like as you use your phone currently, you will bring them to venues and everything in your life, basically. Yeah.
Well, that's actually quite a nice bridge to what I was going to talk about. Thank you. So my name is 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗲. I started with my own augmented reality agency back in 2011. And 6 years ago, I founded a volumetric capture studio where we film people in 3D with all the emotions and wrinkles that we all have. Well, to me, wrinkles are something that you earn. It's not a disfiguration. Last week we launched or premiered 𝗏𝗏𝘃𝗏. It's a hybrid music, new experiences platform, combining the physical and the virtual for music experiences. And we have 4 artists working on performances. And we didn't combine them, we let them work on themselves, per themselves. And they came up with 4 such amazingly different experiences that to me, that was the proof that this is only the beginning of what we can create using the glasses or, whatever technology hardware we have. We will let the boys figure that out. We do the cool stuff.
and the girls and them and
Oh
everyone.
yeah, they can, whatever, you know.
Incredible. Hi, my name is 𝗂𝘂𝘃𝗏, aka Vag with 2 A's. I'm a musician. I'm probably the less geek person on this panel. However, so I'm originally a jazz musician, so I play drums with improvisers, professional improvisers. And 5 years ago, there was a little thing called the pandemic, and I had a lot of time on my hands. And through the spiral of YouTube, I found this startup in New York called Zen House that made these triggers and this technology called sensory percussion. And that, they basically created a thing where you can actually put these sensors on the drums, and every time you hit the drum, it's going to trigger sound. So I found it very, very interesting. And like I said, I'm really not much of a geek. I pretty much suck at being behind a computer. So I really had to, get into it. And then I found a pretty immense rabbit hole to, get sucked in. And 5 years later, now I'm playing this project. It's getting more and more traction, going later and later in festivals with more and more people. And I have to be honest, it's a very big joy to be able to play a drum solo in front of 1,500 people dancing in a festival. So if you're around, you might get a little bit of this later tonight at 6:30, which is very early, but we'll get it,
Thanks. It's probably good to define some basic concepts for this conversation, because we're talking about things like immersive and spatial sound and surround. Maybe, Brecht, could you do us like a few minutes learning session to understand different concepts we're going to talk about?
I'll certainly give it a shot. I think this is something we could probably easily fill a panel with, because I think we may not even agree on this panel, like what exactly we mean by immersive, by spatial, by all of that. But I think that's fine. I don't think we should get lost into the semantics. I think we can like embrace the fact that we mean different things, or that it's actually a versatile term that in different scenarios to different people means different things. But I'll sort of give like what I think is I think many people can agree on what these terms kind of mean. So first of all, immersive, which is still like the big buzzword, and I think the word that we resort to the most when we talk about these experiences, has an auditive, like sonic, musical side to it that I'm most familiar with and that I work in on a daily basis, but certainly also in to other senses, visually, maybe most obviously, is definitely a concept. So that is a first distinction. You may be talking about visual and or sonic audible immersion, right? As for sound, we all remember probably like the term surround, which was a really big buzzword at some point. And I think to a lot of us audio people, it goes mono, stereo, surround, which is ear level height, like kind of the sound is coming from around you, so also behind you, also to the sides, so to speak. And then sort of the next level of that, maybe the final level, who knows, is to then also have a height dimension into it, right? So in that sense, immersive audio, spatial audio, 3D audio, I kind of use them interchangeably. Now, immersive is more than just like a mathematical dimension term. It goes hand in hand, or is maybe sometimes used to denote the emotional aspects or the feeling of being enveloped, which you can arguably achieve, well, definitely with headphones. You can probably achieve it with acoustic sources, maybe with 2, 3, or 60 speakers. So that's less about like the technical term and more about the content. Like the content is sucking you in, is enveloping you. Then I'm not a visual person, so please chime in. I think for the visual, the same thing kind of applies. Like immersive can mean much like the real world, the images are all around you. Maybe you can look around because you're wearing a headset, or there are screens all around you and above you and so on. But then it can also have this other more emotional, I would say, aspect, which is I feel like I'm there. However that is technologically achieved, like that is, to me, those are kind of the dimensions, if you will, of immersive and spatial and 3D sound and visuals. How did I do? You want to add something?
I agree with all of that. And just add a little bit more detail. With some of the manufacturers that have really leaned into it, Dolby, of course, with Dolby Atmos, has done a lot for immersive audio. In addition to the fact that you could set up 14, 18 speakers in your home, you could get a sound bar. So how can a sound bar, one strip of audio, introduce a dimension of height? Obviously, it's not going to be as precise, but they have upward firing drivers that create a sense of that, of height. There's a real interesting newcomer. Google has introduced Google 𝗟𝗡𝘂𝘃 in partnership with Samsung. And this is free, open source, and of course will be on all their devices. But real interesting, they're rolling out now a audio plugin that's free in Pro Tools to make this effort to respect that we are spatial beings and that we hear all around us, including above us. And I'm all for more manufacturers finding ways to make it easier for us to have a fuller audio experience. On the immersive visual, I've got to talk a little bit about the different kinds of devices. Probably everyone here has had a chance to try a Quest, an Oculus Quest. They're really cool, but not that convenient. So as you start getting into, they are amazing. I don't want to take away how amazing they are, but when we get into smart glasses, it's really exciting to have something that's such a familiar form factor as a pair of sunglasses, and introduce, obviously smart glasses are never going to be as immersive as putting on an Apple Vision Pro or an Oculus Quest that really places you inside another world. But with smart glasses, it's so powerful, the digital overlay, where as I look around, and I've been watching all day, people are half looking up at the panelists and half looking down at their phone, because that's what we all do. With smart glasses, you can be looking straight ahead. So you could still be looking at all of us and still be getting a little bit more of a digital overlay that's personalized of, you know, text messages, what have you. And it's bringing immersive content into your line of sight. And it's just so cool.
I would like to add to something to that as well.
Please.
Because you have the pass-through on the on the headsets.
Yes.
And that's already amazingly well. Like, I work 4 hours a day with the Apple Vision Pro on my head, and I don't realize that I'm actually watching a screen. So I was kind of flirting with a guy outside. I'm happily married, by the way, but you know.
This is getting recorded.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. My husband knows. He was outside, so I could see him. I was watching him through a camera. So the realities are even blending more without having the actual smart glasses that look as fancy as normal glasses. And in mixing those realities, that's something that we all want, right? I mean, the current world it might look not what you want it to be, so we can make it what we want it to be.
I'm so glad you brought up pass-through.
Yeah,
it's such a cool concept that you can be I'm going to let you do it. Go ahead. To explain what you mean by pass-through. I mean, you're seeing two layers. You're seeing what's in front of you, and you're seeing the content that's coming through the device.
Yeah, so what actually is happening, you're wearing a device on your head that does this. For people not watching us, but only listening, you close your eyes, right? But it shows you on a screen right in front of your eyes the normal world that you would be looking at when you weren't wearing the device. But having that camera view in front of your eyes allows us to project additional stuff into the world that you actually see. So I could be sitting here and watching a huge computer screen, which is how I like to work nowadays. And it helps me focus. I've lost focus over the last years. I've been having a really, really hard time to sit and work on a document for an hour or 90 minutes in a row, and which is something that, sometimes you need. But people would be, there would be all these kind of signals around me, and I lost focus. But now with with these type of headsets on, I feel totally comfortable. I see the actual world, but in the meantime, I'm like closed off somehow to all the signals pointing at me, and that's helping me really a lot. I work with the Apple Vision Pro on 4 hours a day.
Yeah, and I want to add also, going back to the live music and experiences, so you could bring that digital layer to a live performance. So you're in a festival, so let's say as an artist, you want to add to your storytelling, but you don't have so much budget for all the cool stuff that you want to do on stage, or there is no time because it's a festival and they're gonna be changing for the next band, so you have that basic setting that everybody needs to do and so on. So you could actually have that fan experience for smart glasses or for mobile phones as well, that you can bring that. But let's think of augmented reality glasses that will be more and more used in the near future. And we already have some early adopters creating content and also using those things. So you can, it's so powerful that you can have those experiences. You can, as a fan, you usually, when you have a favorite artist, you arrive maybe 1-2 hours. Some people actually sleep there and so on. So what to do in this time that you're just waiting because you want to be there in the front row, front line of the pit, and then you can be playing a game, with your favorite artists, and you know everything about them, so you get huge points and so on. And let's say if you get on top score on the leaderboard, you get to meet them afterwards. You get backstage access, or you just get free merch or whatever. But you have this time to kill, and also a powerful tool for the artists to have people interact with their IP and storytelling and so on. So definitely, this is going to be huge. Mark my words. Yeah. Is it recorded? So yeah.
I'm going to briefly add to what both of you guys have said. Not only before, and I know you were talking about this as well during the show, just say you don't have Taylor Swift's $100 million budget for the production, or Beyonce's 40, 60 million. You can have digital overlays because of the pass-through, while during your concert, they're watching you and your musicians on stage, and there are flying trapeze, pyrotechnics, whatever you want coming through your glasses. It becomes a new canvas for a music artist to create their live show.
Antoine, did you have something?
Sorry, I just wanted to ask you a question about this. So does that include the fact that people would have to own those glasses? Because the thing is, if you have let's say 15,000 people in a concert hall or a festival, what have you, and indeed, as an artist, you don't especially have all that budget to make all that pyrotechnics and all that stuff. But does that include that then the audience needs that headset?
If they want the extra.
Yeah.
And then they can use it when they go to the next show.
So
because then that artist will also have content for them. It's not required.
My question is, like, I wonder how inclusive this is, because I guess that comes with a price. And a ticket to a festival is, for obvious reason, getting more and more expensive, especially with artists like Taylor Swift, for instance.
Yeah. Okay, but let's be honest. How long did it take before everybody had a smartphone?
I mean, I have a lot of friends that don't have smartphones.
No. Well, so I'm thinking that will solve it in the end.
Yeah.
Right. But before, we can do different things. I don't see like an audience of thousands, like in the next 2 years, watching a concert all wearing pass-through devices.
That'd be very sad for the artist, I have to say.
But they can see everything you do on stage. Yeah. They could just have some other aspect of your creativity that you've added, or you don't have to. And then no one will wear glasses because you didn't add any overlay for them.
Really, I'm just curious about it. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Oh, no, it's just another option. You know?
Why would you feel that it's sad for the artist if people are watching you through these devices?
I mean, I've been on stage for most of my life, and I've noticed a big shift in the last few years with the interaction with the audience. And indeed, what you say is, like you brilliantly said, like we're always kind of split between the reality and those devices. So sometimes it's very hard for an artist to actually get connection with the audience, because most of the audience, I mean, not everywhere, but like there's always a thing where the phone is always like kind of in between. Like it can become a wall, kind of. So for me, it's kind of dystopian, you say that in English, right? To imagine that like a crowd is all wearing that headset, even though they can actually see through it. But there's like, I've played this weekend in a very underground place where no phones were allowed. And that was so liberating for everybody in the audience. So I don't want to be the party pooper of this panel, obviously, but I'm just asking question because I feel like I'm very attracted to that kind of technology as well. But I'm wondering if everybody could, you know, experience the same thing even without having, like, owning one of these headsets, for instance.
Just like
glasses, not headsets.
Yeah,
we're not wearing
glasses.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify, because like glasses are like just your normal glasses that you're wearing, and they have like a small screen in it, so you project an overlay of augmented reality in front. So it's your normal day-to-day glasses, but they have this specific, and it costs like, cheapest one maybe like $600, $800 or something like this, but you will become like more mainstream very soon, and you will have the immersive experience still. So imagine you actually can have a hands-free concert, and you can just like record stuff, and it's actually not going to bother so much the artist, because sometimes you're actually trying to see, and there's like so many people filming. Sometimes I actually zoom in someone's phone to get whatever I want, because they're like, you know, ahead of me in the line and so on, because it's, yeah. But in any case, imagine augmented reality experience, a trippy experience in your concert. Like your fans will have a trippy experience while being sober. Imagine. Yeah? Is it good?
I mean, they do that even without, but you'll see later on.
No, it can be trippier if you're not sober even. Yeah.
It would really depend on the artist's vision if they wanted to incorporate it. I mean, there are artists that just play acoustic. They don't plug in their guitar at all because they want that raw acoustic sound. So it's just another option for artists to expand their canvas.
Yeah, I think the expectations and the reality are still quite far from each other when we are thinking about adoption to larger audiences of new tech and hardware for immersive experiences. Maybe just a question, perhaps to all of you, can you identify some of the biggest challenges and pain points in the adoption? And maybe first to Antoine, based on your experiences, do you think that it's even possible for independent artists to have budgets to create immersive live experiences?
I think budget and art is always a bit of a, there's always a bit of a problem there because more and more there's like a big gap between the middle class of music that no longer exists and the bigger artists. But that's probably not the discussion here, but the budget, like I've tried in the beginning, for instance, to have like an interactive light show that basically picks up all of the signals that I'm sending to the computer and then everything reacts in real time. We've tried that for weeks and weeks on end. Of course, it takes a lot of time and energy, but it takes a lot of money as well, which is not something that's particularly present in the music industry right now for artists of my range, which is like, you know, low kind of in terms of notoriety and stuff. So yes, the challenge is definitely there about budget. So where there's a lot of DIY happening, even for shows that you might think that there's actually budget behind it, it's crazy. And then when you look at the biggest shows, which are like heavily budgeted, heavily financed, then it's like, I don't even know the relationship in prices. So yeah, I mean, all of this is really interesting, and I'm probably a bit old school already to like think about it. But yeah, budget can be a real challenge.
Thoughts, Yara?
What was the question? Sorry.
Adoption.
Adoption. Yeah, I'm in favor of adopting. No, I'm joking. But I think, in the case of Decentraland, for instance, we were. It took some time convincing to IP holders. So we were I was head of Metaverse Music Festival there, and we had like 200 artists in the biggest one that we'd done. It was easier to convince at some point, like after trial and error, speaking with, producing the event for 9 months or something, talking to record labels, I found out, and also like thanks to my music industry colleagues giving me advice to reach out to the managers because they understood the value of connecting with the audience, you know. So in terms of getting to this sort of early stage thing, technology that you can connect with your fans somehow, I feel like the managers see the value, and a lot of artists as well, independent artists, they already are part of some digital communities as well, and so they always trying to bring and bridge stuff. So yeah, so I would say like it's easier whenever, like as a startup founder, for me, it's easier to identify those people that are already somehow always trying to find new ways to do something cool and talk to them, because then you will get they will buy in easier because they're already like always trying to push the envelope in technology somehow to bring that to, you know, their performances and so on, or how can I monetize this, or how can I connect better with my fans, how can I build a community with my fans and so on. So it is more something maybe record labels come at a later stage, because then you will have to have the proof. Then the record labels will say, oh yeah, no, this is, I can put resources into this because you prove that it works and so on. So yeah.
I think one big thing is obviously also interoperability, because the tech stacks, for example, in different venues might vary a lot, and that makes everything very complex. For example, if you're an artist and you want to make a tour or something like that. Is there like
the smart classes are so
is there like an optimal tech stack that could be used in order to make these experiences possible in various places?
Sure.
Perhaps Brecht or Dot?
Well, you know, first of all, when we talk about immersive, we left out, you know, there's the VR, the AR, the mixed reality, and then location-based immersive, which is what's going to happen tonight. where you're setting up all the speakers. What did you say, 60 speakers tonight? 16. Okay. So why I think Yara and I are so excited about smart glasses is finally we're moving what was very challenged with headsets like Quest to a small form factor that has a consumer behavior. And we have been caught in that chicken and the egg, where all these cool devices were coming out, but no one was making content for them because there weren't enough users. And then the users that bought the devices would find there wasn't a lot of content on them, so they didn't use them or show them to their friends. So it's a chicken and the egg. But as far as the technical creation, I mean, the game development, game developer engines, Unity and Unreal are the Logic Pro tools of building for immersive experiences. And, you know, there's so many kids working in Unreal and Unity. There's, as far as the immersive visual experiences, I'm sorry, I think someone else should talk because I have the fly. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a startup earlier today, right, like, about using Unreal for actually venues as well. Shout out to, well, yeah.
Yeah, well, I would like to share something about adoption by users, like 2 preliminary results that we had from our research program, 𝗏𝗏. One, it's a positive, the other one is might be a negative, we're not sure yet. Let's start with the latter one. What we saw is that people value the experience at almost a 9 out of 10. But when we asked them whether they would think their peers would like it, they would say that they would like it only for a 7 out of 10. Not sure if that's true, but we see that people are afraid to share the experience because they think others will not like it as much as they do themselves. So this is something that we have to research further. Is it because of they are afraid that their friends will not like the same music? Is it because of the technology? Is it because of some other reason that we don't know yet? So that's something interesting. And when we solve that, when people start wanting to share about the experience, then we might see a take-up in adoption because we have to have it for worth. Oh, so worth to mouth, what is it? You know what I'm meaning, right? Word of mouth. Yeah, thank you. So that's one thing. The positive thing is that people are willing to pay for these virtual experiences. They are willing to pay up to 80% of the regular ticket price. So if you want to know, like, create a business model about this, you see what your, you know, like in your case, okay, so my normal ticket price is whatever, and then you can calculate a budget and you can calculate, a business model that makes sense. This is not, it's really based on actual research, and we've proven it over and over again. So there is a huge opportunity here in creating these virtual or hybrid music experiences.
Maybe to answer your tech stack questions. So we, first of all, I mean, we try to be agnostic as far as technology, as far as manufacture and so on, because we kind of have to be, but also believe that there is no one tech stack, one platform that is ideal. What does happen right now, and you alluded to this, is that each speaker manufacturer, for instance, has their own immersive engine when it comes to live sound. And the interoperability is still fairly low, and that is something where we, because it's all we do all day, we develop solutions for that so we can travel between different venues. We pre-produce something in our own studio, for instance, with Antoine, with 𝗏𝗏, and then we'll bring it to later today, and it's in a completely different room and so on. But that right now is not really productized yet. Like, we gaffer tape it together because that's what we do. We're researchers and developers, but there is still some way ahead in terms of converging onto like a standard and so on. So I think that maybe answers the tech stack question. Right now, there's certainly different options, and different people may have different needs or preferences. But in the future, you would expect that that choice will matter less and less, because the technologies converge, and which kind of platform you're using, which kind of speaker system you're using is mattering less, because you can travel, and this is what we're really trying to push towards ourselves as well. You can travel from one venue to the next, and as an artist specifically, and even as an engineer, you shouldn't really care too much about what is a specific software version or a specific manufacturer that I'm using with here, so that threshold goes away. And I think technology, and maybe especially in music, technology has a huge democratizing power, but of course, as it is still early stage, it is a bit more of a threshold than it is a sort of an amplifier to the creative process.
Are you mixing in Atmos?
So that's a good question. We are not mixing in Atmos, as in like the setting that you'll see is not a Dolby Atmos like standard setting, and it doesn't have to be, and that's a great thing. And it's not, and it's pretty common for live sound to just like be its own speaker configuration. It doesn't have to adhere to Atmos or RO3D or something else. But there is a translation that we can do, and that we actually do from, for instance, a Dolby Atmos recording, like someone's album that was recorded in Dolby Atmos, and then we do the translation fairly seamlessly, automatically, to whatever speaker system there is. Because it's this object-based format that is actually quite flexible to just do on any kind of speaker setting.
We will need to wrap up this discussion soon, but before we're gonna end, hopefully at least some of you could give us some lessons learned, maybe something that went terribly wrong in some of your projects. Do you have something to tell us, perhaps?
Ask him tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I mean, I think technology is part of life, and I might be the voice of the devil if you say that, but I mean, I have technology in my whole project is based on technology, so I just like to question all these quests, because we live in a very weird, strange place right now, and I think those questions need to be raised. But I'm very happy to hear all this, and this is very new to me, and like all these things seem to be so, like so much exploration and so much discovery to be made. It's amazing. So yeah, let's do it. You at 6:30.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
I have some failures. So for the 𝗏𝗏 project, we first did a tryout before the premiere, and you know why you do a tryout, to do all the wrong things. And but the lesson is that the logistics of hybrid experiences, where you need people to explain to other people how to wear a headset or how to perform what they could do like in a hybrid experience, that needs to be thought out way more. It has to become much easier to organize these hybrid events, and we need like good producers to get this going. It's a new kind of job, I guess. So yeah.
Amen to that. It's 5:15. I think this session is officially over, but we can continue the debate, perhaps in the bar afterwards. And hopefully, if you have any questions for the speakers, feel free to reach out for them. Thank you, panelists.
Yeah.
Thank you, audience.
Put your hands together for Turo and his guests. Amazing.